Next up is Hanna Bondar, who is a member of the Parliament of Ukraine, representing District 220. She's an art critic, architect, and novelist. She serves as the chief of the Subcommittee of Urban Development in the Committee of State Authorities, Self-Government, Regional Development, and Urban Development as part of the Sluga Narodu faction. She served also as the city architect of Kiev in 2015 and 16. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to tell some words about the situation with modernist architecture, but my presentation will be about challenges that are in Ukraine now during the war. It's a pity, but we still know any examples of complex renovation of modernist dwelling districts. So our laws work more with the objects, not with the environment. This is the situation that we have now. For last years in Kiev, we have just 3 objects of modernist architecture that received the cultural heritage status. But the law works not very properly, and that's why 2 of them are ruined now by the contractors, and just 1 is under the conservation. Thank you very much. The feeling in the society, the feeling of modernism architecture is not widespread. Because very often it's associated with the totalitarianism of Soviet Union. We have some facts. Yesterday we have the decision of Supreme Court about the authorship rights of one author of modernist architecture objects. And this is the first decision of Supreme Court that defends the rights of the architect for 30 years. So it's the small fact from yesterday, really. We have now in Kiev very good and interesting young movement of young architects, Save Kiev Modernism. From one side, and from the other side, the very powerful process of decommunization, and usually they contradict between each other. Really, we do not have many researchers about how to make new approaches to the renovation of modernism architecture, except maybe some researchers in Kharkiv and Dokodomo. And we have just 2 books about this architecture, one about architecture and another about mosaic. This year we have 1 competition for upgrading contract panel housing and residential neighborhoods in Kharkiv after ruining the quarters. The results will be on 17th of October, and this competition was organized by Norman Foster Bureau. So even the ministry did not make any competitions in the situation that we have during the war, but we will see what will be the results. It will be the first ideas how to renovate all these ruined buildings. As Pan Mikola says, that we have special law for outdated dwelling, but it doesn't work. So any quarter, any district was not renovated by this law. We have even draft of new law, but it's even worse. So we will see. And today we spoke to Pani Ruta from Lithuania that the project to reherit will work over these propositions, and maybe we will change the law. And really, we have totally other context now, so I will give you short input from real Ukraine. Maybe next slide, please. So here is the map of Ukraine, the map of yesterday. So we have the map, and every Ukrainians look on this map, what is going on. You see the dark pink is the occupied territory, and you see the real situation about sirens, attacks, and so on every moment. The gray zones is the de-occupied territory, so the Russian troops were there, but then Ukrainian army has pushed them out. And we see that 20% of territory is occupied now. This is the real situation. Next slide. This is the slide, the picture from Third Rapid Damage and Needs Assessment, RDNA, as we say it. Till December 2023, so we are waiting for the next one in the end of the year. And here we see not the territories that occupied or not, but the scale of damage. So you see that the eastern part of Ukraine is very damaged. So it means that we have now some cities, towns, villages at all. Next slide. There will be the two pictures before the war. So here you can see the size of the cities that are growing or shrinking. So for 10 years, for more than 10 years, by the photos from the spaces, they look for the light shape of the cities, and then make this cumulative growth of the cities in Ukraine. So before the war, we see that in the east of Ukraine, the cities were shrinking and very fast shrinking. In the west, some cities were growing. Some cities were, by the light shape, were the same. Next slide. And here you see this is before the war, you see the population of Ukraine. So the green one, this is the cities that are growing by the population. We see that they're almost all in the West Ukraine. And the center, the south and the east and the north of Ukraine, we see that the population decrease less and less and less and very fast. Next slide. Next, please. So, if you will see before the large war, the left column, we had 23 agglomerations, and half of them were on the east part of the country. During the war, 12 agglomerations are occupied by Russians, so it means that economy and people go out from there. Before the war, we see it was very fast urbanization. Villages disappear, people moved to large cities. So the World Bank made this urbanization review and showed all this in plenty of tables. During this large war, plenty cities, towns and villages are ruined. Before the war, we had officially statistic 41.1 million Ukrainians not considered occupied territories in 2014. Now we have at least 6 million Ukrainians went abroad as refugees, and nobody knows how many people are killed, because officials says about people who killed civilians, but do not says the data about military killed people in the army. So nobody knows how many Ukrainians will be after this war and how many of them will return to the cities. So tendencies during the war has been just increased. So we had not very good tendencies about our urbanization process, but they are increased more. Next slide. So here you see the photo of Vovchansk. It's a city in Kharkiv region. It's ruined now for 95%. It was twice occupied by Russian. Then Ukrainian army pushed them out, and now they occupied it again. So this is the photo of September. And I was in Donetsk region sometimes in Hromadas. For example, Svetohirsk Hromada. In Donetsk region, they have 16 villages and 1 town, and there is no any building that is not damaged. There is no any building. So we understand that that east part, that was not very good in population and in economy and with shrinking cities, it's totally destroyed. Next slide. Here you can see this scheme from the general scheme of Ukraine that was made in 2000. It was made for 20 years, so in 2020 it stopped its work. The general scheme of Ukraine, so the settlements, the main settlements. And now we understand that we need new general scheme because the situation is totally different. We need new transport corridors with such, I'm sorry, awful neighbor. Yeah. And we should rethink the large territories on the north, on the east, in the south of Ukraine. And we need to decide, should we rebuild these towns, cities and villages or not? Not even the type of rebuilding, just the decision, what should we do with the territories? Next slide. we work now over the new legislation, and we had plenty of lectures from European experts, from USA experts, and they told us that they have the national policy in urban development. Really, in Ukraine, we have no such document. So we have plenty of laws, but there is national policy. Those procedures we have, they're not very good, but at least we have. But national policy we do not have. So our thing is that we need to make the national policy for not just recovering, but for usual life of the cities and urban development of them. This is Kharkiv, Saltovka, the region in the district in Kharkov, and the competition will work, of Norman Foster will work with these territories. We will see the results soon. Next slide, please. What do now our authorities in recovering? So this is a building in Kiev. We see that it was ruined by Russian missile, not too much. So they make a repairing, thermomodernization, and changing the engineering inside. So nobody now works with the huge damages. So if there is a quarter, so it still stay in ruin stage. Next slide. I will not read all this because my time has gone. But I will say that plenty people now working, saying in the conferences and in Lugano Declaration and Ukraine Facility Plan about principles Build Back Better. What does it mean? We are trying to find these instruments, what has to be done in Ukrainian legislation, how to make the procedures better. Then we'll lead architects to make their work in normal way. So we work with the planning of territories, next slide, with the coordination of construction intentions with the community, next slide, quality of projects, next slide, quality of construction of works, next slide, openness of information about construction objects, next slide, new technologies, next, and synthesis of the arts in architecture, and last two slides. Our new legislation that we are working out now, we call it Urban Planning Code or sometimes Building Code, nobody knows what will be the sharp name. I hope we will finish it in the way of using best European practice, and it will help all us to work in Ukraine with the minimal risks for investors. Next slide. We work down top. We have a very huge working group of all specialists and ministers and local authorities. And the idea is not to push some ideas from the members of parliament. The idea is to take all ideas from the specialists and then put it to the law. Next slide. And here you can see our page in Facebook. That's all. Thank you.